Cyberbullies, captured. Better than 80% effective. There's a secret weapon. It works against the cyberbully, and it attacks them in the night. It is the cyberbully's own conscience. May sound a little silly, but our success rate speaks for itself. We have a site called Cleave on America, and people come to the site to interact in interfaith dialogue, Muslims, Christians, Jews, and because there's an interfaith component, we have a lot of people who drop little bombs. They come onto the site and they assault us. A lot of the people that are saying horrible things aren't who you think they are. Mostly, they're young men, and they don't even really understand or know. A lot of them don't even know the topics that they're speaking about, but they're angry and they're enjoying having power, using these expletives and attacking and causing people some shock. It's a very powerful thing. And few of the guys I've talked to don't have fathers or don't have great relationships with their fathers or have lost their fathers. They're young men and they need love. There are sociopaths out there doing this as well. I can't vouch for what's going to happen with them. So the idea is we don't want to get too involved with these people, depending, but you do want to leave them with the parting message. Because you have the site, you control the interactions to some degree. So you set your comments to either no comments, then you don't get anything, or you set it to comments by friends only, so no one else has to see the horrible comments they make until the person's made friends with you. Once you're friends, then they can post on your videos. Your little child's there posted and someone says how ugly your child is or something like that. It's happening all over the place. It happened to me, and I posted back to the guy, said, if you say anything more like that, I'm going to block you. And before we start any dialogue about anything, I'd like you to start with an apology. They're not a friend. If they want to interact, they have to go by the rules. If they don't, you just block them. And if they say something horrible, it doesn't go onto your site. It goes onto your private little comments. That still hurts to read those things. So then when you get that next one, you make your decision. Am I going to block this person forever now? Or am I going to start a little dialogue? What I like to do is give a quick little message and send them on their way. If they just say something horrible and I can't reach them, what I'll usually say is something like, these are pretty harsh words. You've hurt me. So to personalize that you are a person, because sometimes when you're typing, people don't realize on the internet that they are affecting real people. It's all like a game. It's like how people get crazy behind the wheel of a car. They go into a different world. So you transport them, you pull them back into, it's the real world, and you're a real person, you've been affected, and say, this really hurt. I know deep in your heart that you stand for love, and that's what you want. And then you can leave them, and then block them even after that. So I get this really brutal assault, lots of F words and really gross stuff attacking me and my friends. So I responded back with a real quick, I love you, you can say what you want, but no matter what you say, I'll always love you, and I hope, and I know, and I pray that you really want peace, despite your words. Then the guy sends back, hey, fuck you. Muslims deserve to rot in the motherfucking dirt, you camel-loving piece of sand shit. Go lick a Muslim's turban and choke on their tiny... And no, I'm not black. He had a derogatory black name. And if I was, I would certainly have committed suicide. Racist, all the most offensive. It really hurt. So then I just said, okay, say what you want. But I didn't block him. I just made sure that he was not a friend, so he couldn't comment only to me personally. I was going to give the guy one more shot, so I just left a little message. And it said, I know you want better than this. Nothing for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, he adds me as a friend on the site. So that was a little strange, and I said, well, should I block him? I don't know. I didn't understand what was happening. Then 2 weeks later, I get this. Brother, I am so sorry about my actions. I feel terrible and awful. I had a dream that made me realize that I needed to change my life. And you are the one that made me realize what I've done. You are a very nice and peaceful man, and I wish you and your beautiful family luck. We're actually becoming friends now. That's more likely what happens with a hater, because they're missing something. And the funny thing is, you never have people wake up in the middle of the night wanting vengeance. Vengeance is something you carry around all day. Your consciousness has its own agenda, but your heart wants peace. Our hearts want peace. Unless we're sociopaths, our hearts want peace and our hearts want love. Don't get caught up in the minutia or the details or fighting the arguments of what the person said, because what they said is really irrelevant. It was an attack. I let them know the ground rules for how communication is going to be. And then I give them a love message, and I tell them no matter what, I love them. I don't have to like them. I tell them that I love them. And then I offer the little seed that perhaps they want something more and something better. And in time, left alone, these people are so unused to getting this response that it tweaks the hate. And while they're sleeping, they wake up. And I've heard several people email me back, I had a dream. So the cyberbully will be captured by his own heart. And I say his because it's almost always guys. Sad but true. Couple ladies. But you know, the people I haven't reached, mostly, were not super haters. They just were so entrenched in a belief that they had to discard me to keep their bigotry and their hatred going. But they really, at that point, they didn't have anything to do with me. But the blatant shock haters, we had one guy who was shocking the site and saying horrible things. Since I become friends with him, I realized that he wasn't even really in on the discussion. He didn't even really know what it was we were talking about. He was just going from place to place dropping these bombs. So don't take them as personal. I'm telling this as a message to myself. Don't take those messages too personal. But we can stop the cyberbullies. And each one of these people who's made a change, if he was out attacking 20 people a day, think about how much more beautiful the place could be. So let's not take their hate bait and go to their sites and attack back. Let's show the love, but don't dive into their lives either. Just set ground rules and show them some balance and some love. 80%, most of the people we've done this with have actually come back to the site and they're friends. And if there's a debate where there's a disagreement, we help teach each other that we can disagree on things and still be civil. So we actually ask a person, sometimes I'll ask people, did you just stop by to make insults, or are you really interested in this topic? Is this something you'd like to talk about? Because if you would, stop the assault, no name calling, and no pornographic words, and we can have a dialogue. And most of those people hop right on board and they say, hey, I'm sorry. They didn't realize somehow, again, it was like they were in the cyber world, so they didn't have to be human to you. They didn't have to recognize that you were human. Let's bring the humanity back to YouTube. There's a lot of it there, and there's a lot of wonderful people. We can make peace. This internet could be the tool for world peace. And the 20% who we're not successful with, I don't know what's happened with them. I may have been successful. I blocked them. I don't know whether they've come back to apologize. They may have.